What is the best animated movie and why? My all-time favorite animated movie is Laputa, Castle in the Sky by Studio Ghibli. The characters, the world building, the plot, the animation, and the score are all phenomenal. Since having kids we steadily rotate through that one along with Nausicaa, Howl's Moving Castle, My Neighbor Totoro and Spirited Away. Ada, Ponyo is definitely part of that rotation too. Mononoke is a bit too mature for my little kids but I've seen it many times, including in theater when it was originally released. All of them are amazing for those same reasons. I never get tired of them, seen them hundreds of times each by now. The music and scenery are amazing. Also my favorite aspect is how they all feature strong capable female lead characters. Pixar barely ever does that. No one mentions Princess Mononoke. That was a pretty big deal. Too heavy for young kids I guess. Was going to say the same thing. Princess Mononoke is my personal favorite and a masterpiece in its own right, can't believe it wasn't mentioned. That shit will absolutely give little kids nightmares. Perfect Blue, because it actually pushes you to observe and has an after effect. Great art too. I love Paprika too. All the Satoshi Kon movies. RIP. Paprika is excellent. Watched that and Millennium Actress pretty much back to back and it blew me away. Highly recommend Paranoia Agent as it's great as a whole but has a couple of amazing standout episodes. Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind for me. The intricacy of Miyazaki's worlds is always fascinating, and I just love Nausicaa herself so much. As well as the tightly constructed plot, the majesty of the Omu. Such a great movie. Loving Vincent is the first, and to my knowledge only, full-length film where every frame is an oil painting. It's about a guy who goes to the town in southern France where Vincent van Gogh was living and tries to figure out how he died. Amazing movie all around. I'm pretty sure that counts as animation. Saw this in the theater and sat in my usual spot, about halfway from the screen. Once it started, I realized I was too far away and moved to the front row. Wow! It's the only film I will ever recommend sitting right up close. The detail is just so beautiful. Same can be said for actual Van Gogh paintings. Pictures just don't do them justice. You have to see them up close and in person. The man was brilliant. Edit, it's so nice opening up Reddit and having so many notifications about art appreciation. The Great Mouse Detective is pretty ducking clever. Edit, thank you for the gold, internet stranger. I was not expecting this response. It's nice to know that people remember The Great Mouse Detective so fondly. Apparently I watched this movie so much as a child that the rest of my family absolutely hates it. Whoops. I'd say the original Ghost in the Shell. Storytelling, incredibly artistic hand-drawn scenes, music that I can recall to this day. It was pretty groundbreaking artistically and ideologically for 1995. Princess Mononoke. Anyone? How has nobody said The Road to El Dorado yet? That movie ticked every box. Stars. Can't do it. Not today. Guys, you're broke, you got nothing to bet with. One more roll. A silent voice from Kyoto Animations. The way they show what it means to have friends and how dark Shoya touched me in a way no movie ever had. Isn't Kyoto Animations the studio that was burnt down by an arson? Yes, and murdered employees. Just to clarify that, it was the arsonist who murdered the employees, not Kyoto Animation. Fantastic Mr. Fox. I ducking love the animation style and humor in this movie. It also stays true to the book story while putting a fresh spin on it. Edit, despite the clear 50-50 split amongst replies, I'm shocked no one has used the "well they have arms." Animals with arms are furries. Furries bad. So movie bad. The Secret of NEM. Stunning visuals, amazing score, great voice acting, and a story that's a lot more interesting than the book it's based on. Pretty much any of Don Bluth's early movies really. All Dogs Go to Heaven was always my favorite just because how batshit crazy it was. Don Bluth's animation was awesome. Loved pretty much all he had done. Secret of NIM, All Dogs Go to Heaven, Thumbelina, Anastasia, Pebble and the Penguin. It's a shame his studio didn't take off. Wow, what a typo. I'm glad I was in the right place at the right time to witness this. Thank you for pointing it out. Yet better not fix it. Here's to the dongs in all the right places. Glad corrected Analstasia though. Treasure Planet Edit, I didn't think this comment would get this much attention. Thanks for the awards. As for why it's great, I always wanted to live in a world like Treasure Planet. A place where you could go and explore the galaxy. I have a few. Your Name is a fantastic piece of art, visually breathtaking. Song of the Sea is another gorgeous animated piece, purely magical story rooted in Irish mythology. The art style is a little different and beautiful, and the sound design is also fantastic. The Breadwinner is another example of beautiful storytelling filled with empathic characters and realism, telling a difficult story through the eyes of a child. All three of these are kind of mood movies for me, for when I want to feel extra emotional. Secret of Kells, Song of the Sea, and The Breadwinner are amazing movies that needs more attention from people. Kells and Song are some brilliant showcases of Irish mythology too, which I am intensely interested in. It's a damn shame the Celtic mythologies don't get as much airtime. Not sure if anyone said this, but The Last Unicorn. Everything from the animation to the characters is stellar, and I don't think I've ever watched an animated movie that's made me feel the same way as The Last Unicorn does. This was the one I wore out as a kid, and still occasionally watch today. It's remarkable how certain scenes hit me so much differently as an adult. Molly Grew, man. And where were you 20 years ago? 10 years ago? Where were you when I was new? When I was one of those innocent young maidens you always come to. How dare you? How dare you come to me now when I am this? Definitely The Road to El Dorado. Visually beautiful, music by Elton John, funny. I could rewatch that movie so many times. Tullio, did you ever think it would come to this? The horse is a surprise. I think this and The Emperor's New Groove shaped my humor more than any other animated movies. The Emperor's New Groove is the shit. The Incredibles edit, thank you for Gold and Silver Kind Strangers. Love you guys. The Land Before Time. It was the first time that a movie made me feel so many emotions that I couldn't place at my young age, and watching Littlefoot cope with his mother's death was devastating. I watched it last year when it was on Netflix, still cried. Hey! Thank you to whoever for the gold. When you see other people write this exact sentence it's like, okay, whatever. But it is actually pretty cool. Thank you to whoever. At 37 years old, I'm still emotionally ducked up from this movie and The Brave Little Toaster. That scene with Littlefoot thinking his shadow is his mom is so freaking heart-wrenching. Monsters Incorporated. Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me. She's out of our hauteur. And just when I dared to care. Grave of the Fireflies. Never would have thought that an animated movie could make me cry like a little bitch. This is the kind of movie you watch once. I was expecting it to be like Spirited Away. Spoiler alert, it was not, and I sobbed for like a half hour afterward. What a punch in the gut. An important story to tell, but I don't even want to think about it. I've watched this like 7 times, 15 minutes, and I'm already sobbing because I know what happens. 7 times over the span of 20 plus years, not consecutively. When you need a good cry, this is a good one to watch. Has no one said Kubo in the 2 Strings yet? Beautiful stop-motion film from Laika, who created Coraline, Paranorman, etc., not even addressing the brilliant story, themes and music in Kubo. The animation alone is just incredible. The skeleton model was 16 feet tall and they created new techniques for things that had never been put to stop motion before, such as huge rolling waves in the ocean, done with cloth over a rigwork. Some of the faces were 3D printed even. It's honestly one of the most elegantly told stories I've ever seen put to screen, and it's combined with the best stop-motion animation I've ever seen. It's incredible. Please, next time Laika produces a film, go see it. They are independent and each one of their films has brought in less and less despite the quality going up and up. Kubo only barely brought in 78 mil against a 60 mil budget. Their most recent film, Missing Link, didn't even make back a quarter of its budget. Stop motion as a medium is really rare already, and to have it be done so well is utterly unheard of. I would hate to see Laika go down like this. Anastasia, 1997. The music provides a nice touch. Meet the Robinsons Disney movie. I fell in love with it as a child. I have been ridiculously depressed lately and I was going to watch something else on Netflix but saw they had it on here and immediately started crying, so I put it on. Cried throughout the entire thing. Just before I was about to quit on myself entirely, that movie told me to keep moving forward. You learn from mistakes, successes. And not so much. Was a great reminder and definitely a favorite. Such a great movie, especially for children who are adopted. It can be hard to cope with being adopted, whether your birth parents are dead or alive, but this movie showed a mother giving up her son for adoption and he becomes okay with that. He doesn't have to search the past for his family, and you don't have to be related by blood to be family, it's all about the people who love you. This movie came out a while after I finally accepted my situation and what had happened to my mom, but still it was great to see and I cry every time I watch it.